Very good morning. Jai Shri Krishna Guruji. Thank you for joining the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. Wishing you all a very happy Navratri. Today is day 3. It is the puja of Chandra Ghanta. Today we'll begin with the second episode and fourth chapter. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Before we begin the second episode and fourth chapter, I would like to do a small recap of what we have learned in the last few days, that is the last 2 days of the Navratri. We started with the source of what is Devi Mahatmyam was all about. Why did even the questions came into the minds of the king and the Vaishya, the Surata and Samhadi. Then the sage, when they approached the sage, he gave a beautiful story about this Devi. That is called knowledge. He unveiled the ignorance, he was through the power of the knowledge. So he was narrating this beautiful glory of who this Devi is in reality. Then he started with the story about the demon. When Lord Vishnu was in Yoga Nidra, how these two demons who were born out of the wax and came out of the, who were born from the wax of Vishnu's ear. And they started troubling Brahmaji quite a bit. Then Brahmaji, praises this divine Devi and asks her to, awaken Lord Vishnu to kill Madhu and Kaitaba. Who does Madhu and Kaitaba represent in our world? But before that, I'm going to emphasize on this very aspect called delusion, attachments, and feeling miserable in life. Even after the king losing his kingdom, his mind was constantly thinking about the kingdom alone. And he was feeling sad about his people, his elephant, his wife, his children, his ministers, everybody. He was feeling sad for his people. He was worried whether they were being taken care or not. And that is called attachment and possession. And in spiritual term, we call that as bondage. The second person was the Vaishya. His own family, his wife and children threw him out of his own house. And yet, he was worried about whether my family is taking care of my wealth, whether my sons are behaving fine. Constantly again, he was also feeling the same attachment towards these people, his own kith and kin, who have thrown him out of his own house. Can you imagine this? The question you should ask, it is human nature to become greedy. The question you should ask yourself is that, why does my mind go back to the same object and still think about them? What is this attachment all about? Why am I in that delusion? So both the king and the Vaishya, when they were going through the same misery or suffering and their mind was constantly being lost in this attachment, they decided then to approach the great sage and ask him the question, why are they going through this? So that they can overcome this delusion which they are facing in their life. Even in reality, recently I know somebody whose husband passed away at a very early age. Even though he was drinking, not taking care of the family, he was beating his wife, all that was happening, yet the wife was attached. Why is this attachment that comes? Of course, you're going to cry, you're going to grieve over the person's death and loss. But grief about whom? A person who was only giving us misery? This is a very important question to ask. Even though sometimes the human being understand that what I'm doing is wrong and I'm taking the wrong side because of my attachment, yet they fall in that gutter. Why does that happen? It is your attachment, whether it is to your wife, your children, your husband, your parents, anybody that get attached to is going to cause you the greatest misery of all times. Please remember, we only have to work and do our duties in this world in detachment. That is why it is important to understand or have a simple knowledge. Even if you don't have a guru, even if you don't have anybody, it is perfectly fine. It's okay. What you need to do? You just need to do your duty, being detached in whatever that you do. Don't get attached into that relationship. It's going to cost you way beyond what you can imagine. What is the cost that you have to pay? You have to be born again and again with the same person, go through the same sufferings and misery. Why are you asking for it? Aren't you not sanctioning your future life with the same karma, or worse than that? Instead of making your future lives better, you're sanctioning even more a miserable life. Why are you asking it? This is the truth you need to understand. So when the king and the Vaishya approached the sage with humility and humbleness, the sage started narrating this beautiful story, the glory of the great goddess. That is why we say glory of Divine Mother, Devi Mahatmyam. And please remember, there is no Devi outside. See, we have always described in God and goddesses. There is no God and goddesses. They are all one. It's only one. Supreme divine consciousness. It is an active and a passive principle. Active, we say in example, Purusha and Prakriti, Shiv and Shakti. It is active and a passive principle. So the goddess represents power potentials. She is represented as Shakti, the energies, the capabilities, the ability to do. Somebody who performs action. From the supreme divine consciousness, like Lord Shri Krishna has said, it's my nature who does everything in the world. So the supreme divine consciousness itself does not do anything. So the power, the manifestation is called the power potencies of the Lord. So this goddess is none other than this power, the ability to do. So we say, right, this human body, God made man in the very image of God himself. What does it tell you? That he has created this body, a manifest body, so that we can understand this great potentials which is there within us, which God has bestowed in us, the ability to do, and that is called Shakti. So it is not some goddess that you think there is. We always go by the gender and all that. There is nothing. There is only one divine being. That is why we say it is not just Kali, it's Krishna Kali. It is that divine Lord himself. We don't understand this. We have bias, and we have been following certain way of worship because we have never learnt it from the real master himself. Who can explain who is God all about? Only God can explain who is God. That is why this great divine being manifests in the form of a guru. And finding a guru is a rare thing. And if you ever find him, make use of that opportunity to redeem yourself, to learn and understand the truth about our own existence and what is life all about. That truth is very important. Only with the power of knowledge can you cut asunder the ignorance and evolve. So this is a quick recap. So coming back to the demons, Madhu and Kaitam. Madhu represents sweet talkers. And I think I've explained this about sweet talkers enough. But please remember, the sweet talkers can come in any form. See, when I say sweet talkers, I'm not talking about people who are genuinely sweet, who are genuinely kind. I'm not talking about them. I'm not referring to them. There are people in this world, most of them have ulterior motives. They talk very sweetly. Why? Because they want their work to be done. They have some hidden agenda. So never ever fall prey to these kind of demons. You should recognize them. And they will not hesitate to backstab you at any given point in time if it is going to benefit them. So this is something you need to be careful about. So don't get carried away when people praise you. Never do that. That's number one. Second demon is Kaitab. Kaitab is the one who doesn't allow you to listen to the voice of the Divine Lord. Inside of your heart, there's somebody telling, look at me, don't get lost, don't lose the opportunity. You have been bestowed a beautiful opportunity. Why are you kicking that grace and walking away? Look at me now. That voice is what, you should hear. So don't go by what your mind talks, because your mind talks louder. So the voice of the Divine Lord is unheard by us, unfortunately. So make an effort to recognize this demon within us. Then yesterday we did some more, we also covered many other demons who came into existence, and every day we are going to learn more about them. We learnt about Mahishasura. Who is this Mahishasura? Mahish means what? Buffalo. The buffalo represents inertia and lethargy in a human being. Have you noticed today, especially post-pandemic, human beings are lazy. And also we are in the Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga has made everybody tamasic in nature. People have become indisciplined. They don't wake up in time. They don't eat in time. They eat whatever they feel like. Today, if you look at the food industry, is thriving. You know why? Everybody eats any crap that is offered to them. They don't even know whether that food is good or not, whether it is healthy or not. And one thing that they have invited is called sickness. Weird diseases are coming up. We had COVID-19. From COVID, different variants came about, and now unique diseases are coming. And thanks to pandemic, it has also affected our mental and physical well-being. It's completely gone out of the window. A part of the portion of brain has been shrunk, and that which has affected the cognitive ability. Now what do? Imagine already a man is dull-witted. Not everybody is intelligent. God has given capability, but everybody is not intelligent because we've never learned in our life. So these things have affected us even more. But if you don't understand the truth and do something about it, you can't expect anybody to transform you from outside. Why is this knowledge being imparted? So that you can do something for yourself. This is called, knowledge is called enabling you. Through knowledge, you get enablement. And through application of knowledge, you get the experience. Now, who should apply the knowledge? You should apply the knowledge. Only you can put through your self-effort, make yourself rise. Nobody can empower you from outside. Empowerment is within us. It's only through self-effort. And this is something people don't understand. They think some magic and miracles have to happen. There is no miracle. God is within you. The miracles are in your hand. You can make a miracle if you believe in. So don't fall for this laziness and letharginess. Get over it. You have to be active throughout the day. It's very important to be very disciplined. Next what happens from the lion, buffalo, he takes a form of a lion, the demon, Mahishasur. Now, when he becomes a lion, what has happened? Lion represents, I know, I have done this before. If somebody comes and tells you, they teach you, can you not waste your time? Why are you wasting your life? Why are you being lazy? Immediately we get very angry. I know all of that. Don't keep telling me. Don't teach me. Have you seen how people respond? Even especially the youngsters today, they have their very independent view to life, having zero knowledge about anything at all, because they don't even want to learn. First of all, they are in a environment where they're confused beings, unfortunately. But they have the ability to learn, but they don't want to learn at times. They're already in the stage of depression, negativity. All these things have already creeped into them, and that is not their fault, but it is the Yuga's fault. But the choice lies with you, whether you want to rise or fall down further. So the lion represents, I know, that egoistic attitude. I know, don't tell me, those kind of attitude that we carry. Then from the lion, when you're told again, the demon turns into a man with a sword who is infuriated. What does that represent again? A man with a sword represents, if you continue to tell them, hey, you're just wasting your time, do something about your life, you know what they do? They get very infuriated and they fight back. Don't teach me. I've done so much. I've accomplished. People try to find reasons and give excuses for why they don't want to do something. And when you tell them, they get very angry and they will fight you back. That is what happens. So the demon takes the form of an elephant, and again, it gets into what is called a bloated ego, arrogance and pride. It's a momentary thing. I will show them what I can do. I've done so much in my life, and you don't tell me. How can they talk to me like this? After that fight, there's a charge that comes in a human being, and that charge tells us I can achieve anything. It's only a momentary. And again, the demon goes, takes the form of a buffalo. And again, what you become? Lazy, filled with inertia. That is what you become. Then you don't want to do anything. You're just lazing around, you're sleeping, you're eating. I know somebody who lost one of his parents, and for the longest time, he's still grieving. Isn't that very sad? Tell me, you think your parent, your father or mother from the heaven is going to be happy seeing your children not doing anything in this world? Of course not. But what is the reason they are giving? They want to hide behind the reason. Oh, I lost my parents, so I can't perform in this world. How flimsy that reason is. Do you think you can accept? Of course you need to grieve. You grieve for a while. Of course, as a body, you go through the emotions. So how long? How much more time do you need to not do anything? This is what happens. And why does that happen? Because the demon called Mahishasura is now become he's usurped the Indra's throne. Now he's taken full power over your mind. He's the king of gods now. And who is the king of God? Tamas, inertia, lethargy, laziness, not to do, indiscipline, everything takes over. So the Mahishasura is now ruling your mind, your world. And what is he saying? Oh, don't do, it's okay, perfect, fine. Why do you need to do? You just be like this only. This is what the demons represent. And now what happened? The Devi killed the demon. Okay, in the last episode we learned that the Devi kills the demons. But is that really so? Now what we'll do is, let us continue with chapter 4, and I will reveal one more secret about how the demons work. Okay, so that you can be aware when this happens to you, so that you are able to fight over them. Let us begin the second episode, meditation on Mahalakshmi. Wielding in her hands the string of beads, battle axe, mace, arrow, thunderbolt, lotus, bow, water pot, cudgel, lance, sword, shield, conch, bell, wine cup, trident, noose, and the discus, Sudarshana, she has a complexion of coral and is seated on a lotus. I worship here that Mahalakshmi, the vanquisher of the Asura Mahisha. So we begin chapter 4 today. The sage said, when the most valiant and wicked Asura and the army of enemies of gods were slain by the goddess, the hosts of gods, headed by Indra, lauded her. Their necks and shoulders bowed in salutation, and their bodies charming with horripilations of delight. So right now, the gods and everybody else are very extremely delighted that the Devi killed Mahishasura. Is that really so? That is something where I'm going to reveal to you at the end, towards the end of this chapter. All this world has been pervaded by the goddess through her soul force, which has embodied itself in the form of the joint forces of the entire host of gods. To her, the mother, worthy of worship by all the gods and seers, we bow in devotion. May she arrange for us auspicious things. The infinite Lord, Brahma and Shiva, cannot adequately describe her unparalleled glory. May she, Chandika, be pleased to give thought to the protection of the entire world and to the destruction of the fear of evil. What is it? The destruction of the fear of evil. This is a very important word here. Fear of evil. What does fear of evil represent? Destruction of the fear of evil. This whole world is driven by one factor called fear. We are all afraid of everything in this world. You know what is it we fear? First is fear of money, fear of the future, fear of uncertainties of life, fear of death, fear of sickness, fear of everything. We are afraid of everything. Fear drives us. Throughout the day, we live in fear about something or the other. And this fear is different for different people. You know, at college, you might be fearing, oh God, I have to get good marks. You know, your pressure, you're stressed about it, stress. The word is stress. Fear is one element, second is stressed out. Why? Because when you fear, you also end up becoming anxious. Anxiety strikes you. The next aspect comes when you have to now take up a job. Oh, I wish I get more money. Then when you get more money, then what happens? Oh, I don't want to lose my job. The fear is you might be thrown out of your company. That's the fear we are driving, we are being driven. And then what? You buy a house, you get into EMIs. Now, the biggest fear is you need a sustaining job, sustainable job. You know why? You have to pay your EMIs, your bills. Too many commitments come into existence. Then what happens? This fear keeps you anxious all the time. You don't know what to do with life. Then comes a point when you have family, children, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, oh God, too many things. You know, we waste half of our life in all these, thinking about these relationships and some fear or the other. And if you take at least middle-aged people and then later part of those people from 40 to 60 plus and above, they're having some kind of sickness. They're worried about health, fear. Oh, I wish I don't fall sick. I wish this doesn't happen to me. I hope my insurance will cover my diabetes, in the future. Whatever nonsense. Today, everybody is afraid of sickness and then death, fear of death. What kind of a death I'm going to have? I hope I don't suffer in the hospital bed. Too many things. People go through all these, anxieties. Now, why do you fear? Fear of evil. She says, the goddess, she destroys the fear of evil in a being. What does it tell you? That tells you that you don't have to be afraid of anything in your life. Most important is when you have the faith in the divine Lord and you have absolute conviction in the divinity and within yourself, then you're not going to be afraid of anything. You will just do samarpan and just go doing your duties diligently and in a disciplined manner. What is missing today and why this fear comes is because we're indisciplined, we don't do things. And like my Guruji says, it's not hard work, it's hardly work. And then we'll expect miracles, fantastic results. And we'll also give justification why we have to get. This is the world today and people want it easy. They don't want to put effort. They want things on a platter. That is the world we are into. So you have to first overcome this fear. Once I was giving a talk in my company, my previous organization, there was a lady asked me a question. How is that you're able to come with so much motivation every single morning to work? The day I stopped believing that I'm working for some manager, I'm reporting into him, I had this fear. Oh, I have to do well, my manager has to recognize, and he has to give me a good rating so that then I'll get a good increment, blah, 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 as a normal human being. The day I understood that knowledge, with the power of knowledge which my guru had imparted to me, that I am not responsible to any managers. I am responsible to the divine Lord. I am working for him. Everything that I am, the job is because of my Lord. So I have to be my best because I'm representing my Lord and I'm working for him. So what is there to fear? I just have to do my job. Of course, you might make mistakes, but you can always learn. There is nothing wrong in learning. If you fail, okay, learn from it and move on. Do better the next time. Who's stopping you? So why should you be afraid? And then I told this lady, I come every morning with this sense of I have to give my best today. I have to make my God very proud of me. When I go back at the end of the day, I have to tell him what all I did, what all I accomplished. And I just have to be happy. And I know nothing is permanent. Everything is transient in this world. And when you're working for the divine Lord, he's your boss. You will put your best foot forward. And you will work with all that gusto, energy, zest and zeal, you'll go with full excitement. That is missing in everybody's world today. but you will go that. So I told her, what I have is called fear, freedom from fear. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid about I need a position. If I have to get it, it'll come to me. Why am I even afraid? I just have to do my job, be the best, best tool in his hands, and be the best at my job, God-given job. That is what I come with. That is my motivation. And I don't get involved in gossips, office politics. Yeah, politics are there, but you just don't have to pay attention to that. You just focus in your work. Build yourself, build knowledge. This is the power that you will experience. Then you are so charged that you want to go conquer the world. But today, ask yourself, when you go and think you're reporting into some boss, of course, see, you have to respect the authority. No way has my Guruji taught, or I'm not saying that you should not respect your authority. No, manager is there. He's put in this position because of the Divine Lord himself. You need to respect him and do your job. But that doesn't mean that see, when you believe that, oh, he is responsible for my life, then comes a problem. What I mean here is that you do your duties diligently. Of course, you report to him, do what you have to, respect him, be nice with him, but understand ultimately who is your super boss. That is what you need to know. Your super boss is the Divine Lord himself. So know that at the end of the day, you are reporting him to him. So you will give that kind of a performance. So that is called freedom of fear. So here the Devi, here the saying, Chandika, be pleased to give thought to the protection of the entire world and to the destruction of the fear of evil. That is what is important. Thou art prosperity and beauty in the mansions of those who perform good deeds, poverty and ugliness in the case of those disposed towards evil, intelligence in the heart of those who possess a cultivated mind, faith in the good folk and modesty in those born in a noble family. We bow down to thee, O Devi, protect the universe. This is actually a very powerful verse. Let me explain. Even in Bhagavad Gita, the Divine Lord Shri Krishna, has taught Arjuna about how do you recognize divine endowments and evil endowments in a human being. So here she's saying where you can find this divinity and how do these people represent. Thou art the divine goddess, thou art prosperity and beauty in the mansions of those, only in the mansions of those who perform good deeds. That is why my Guruji will always keep teaching us one very powerful lesson. Be your good self. Being a good self is extremely important. Let the world be however bad they want, however evil they want, perform whatever deeds they want. You don't become that. You follow this path of righteousness and dharma and serve your purpose diligently, and there exists the Devi with you. He's saying here, thou art prosperity. Thou art prosperity. Nothing shall befall the devotees of the divine being, the divinity, the divine mother, and beauty in the mansions of those who perform good deeds. Poverty and ugliness in case of those disposed towards evil. Poverty and ugliness in case of those disposed towards evil. So it is your karma. No? That is why we say it's your own karma. We say, right, good begets good, evil begets evil. It is what you throw is what is going to come back to you. So you only do good. Why bother about the rest of the world? Let the Divine Lord take care. My Guruji will always say this to me. You don't have to even lift your finger to do anything. The universe will take care. This is the universe. This is the supreme truth. So understand, be good, be nice, be your good self at all times. Let the world be however bad they want. This is something you need to understand and inculcate in yourself. Intelligence in the heart of those who possess a cultivated mind. Very powerful. What does that mean? Intelligence in the heart of those who possess a cultivated mind. Cultivated mind means what? You're nurturing your mind. Mind has to be so mind has to be directed. Mind has to be given a direction in which how it has to go. It's like a wild horse. It is running hither thither. So who's the control? The controlling authority is the Divine Lord. Hand over the reins of running this mind in the hands of the divine being. So there she says, intelligence in the heart of those who possess a cultivated mind. How beautiful, cultivated mind. So understand, you have to tame your mind, you have to train your mind, you have to discipline it. So it is in your hands to do that. Faith in the good folk and modesty in those born in a noble family. Faith in good folk. Faith doesn't come in everybody. Faith in only the good folk and modesty in those born in a noble family. We bow down to thee, O Devi, protect the universe. O Devi, how can we describe thy form? It cannot be grasped by the mind. And how to extol thy excessive valor playing havoc amongst the asuras, and those exploits of thine in battles surpassing all those of the divine and the asuric hosts. Thou art the cause of all the worlds. Thou art made up of the three gunas, yet a stranger to their attendant defects. Thou art beyond the ken of perception of even Vishnu, Shiva and others. Very powerful. What is being said here? Thou art beyond the ken of perception of even Vishnu, Shiva and others. Refuge of all art thou. This whole world is a portion of thine. Yeah, thou art the primordial, unmanifest, supreme Prakriti. Thou art the primordial, unmanifest, supreme Prakriti. O Devi, thou art Swaha, by uttering which all the godheads get satisfaction in all the sacrifices. Thou art also the cause of satisfaction to the Pitris. That is why thou art called Swadha as well by people. O Devi, thou art supreme knowledge, the cause of liberation. Thou, Bhagavati, constituting great unthinkable austerities, are practiced by sages who reject all their shortcomings, keep their senses under restraint, know the essence of truth and seek liberation. This is very, very important. Please let us understand what is being said here. Thou, Bhagavati, constituting... Okay, sorry, let me start from the beginning. O Devi, thou art supreme knowledge. What is it? Supreme, the highest knowledge or the esoteric knowledge. The cause of liberation. She is the cause of liberation. Thou, Bhagavati, constituting great unthinkable austerities, are practiced by sages. Who practice the austerities? The sages who reject all their shortcomings. Who reject all their shortcomings. What does it tell you? It tells us that, see, as a body, it has its vasanas, tendencies, inherent nature and all other karma, accumulated from many births of yours, from the past lives. Now, what is important to do? You have to reject all your shortcomings through what? Practice. Practice means sadhana. It is extremely important. See, knowledge is one aspect. Having knowledge is no use, let me tell you. Knowledge is like this book. Every year, very religiously, we do Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. After 9 days, the 10th day, we do Samapti and close this scripture and put it very nicely in our library. After that, do you even open the scripture? No. We forget. That is our shortcoming. We forget everything. All this excitement is there for this 9 days. What you learn a few minutes before, you just forget it before the end of the day itself. You can't even remember. We have very short-term memory. Today it's become shorter and shorter and shorter. Attention span has gone to dogs completely. We can't have a proper attention for even, more than 2 minutes. There is no attention span at all. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we have to go back and practice, which doesn't happen by anybody. So knowledge is there in the book, but what use is that knowledge if you don't apply that knowledge, if you don't do the practice? It is as good as closing this book and putting it back. And next year, once again, we will celebrate Navratri. But I will come to that explanation towards the end of the Parayan. Who reject reject all their shortcomings, keep their senses well under restraint. So you need to restrain your senses. Again, the same thing isn't it taught in Bhagavad Gita also? If you listen to my satsang, Lord Shri Krishna says the same thing to Arjuna. Do you think Arjuna even listens? 18 chapter he has to do. I'm like, over and over and over again. I keep telling my Guruji, I don't understand how Lord Shri Krishna has so much patience to teach the same lesson a million times or billion times. I don't know. It's very boring at times, I feel. I mean, I feel bored for him, not me. I didn't mean this lesson is boring. I mean, doesn't he get bored by saying the same thing? I mean, you get frustrated if people don't listen and learn. What is the point in teaching the same lesson if you're not learning at all? So please know it is for your own good. You have to make an effort to learn. So keeping your senses well under restraint, know the essence of truth. Know the essence of truth and seek liberation. What is it you need to seek? Liberation. Soul of sound, treasure true of immaculate Rik, Yajus and Saman, whose arrangement of words is beautiful with the resonance of Omkara. Thou, Bhagavati, are the three Vedas. O Devi, thou who destroys the great distress of all the worlds, are the common speech for carrying on in the work-a-day world. What does it say? O Devi, thou who destroys the great distress of all the worlds, are the common speech, common Vak we say. Who is Vak? The great goddess. Common speech for carrying on in the work-a-day world. Every day work, you have to carry on. That is why my Guruji says, always speak sweetly, say nice things, say good things. It's very, very important. Be your good self. O Devi, thou art verily Gauri, established by the moon-crested Shiva, Lakshmi, who has taken abode solely in the heart of Vishnu, the enemy of Kaitaba, Saraswati, the intellect, knowing the essence of all Shastras, Durga, seated unattached, the boat for crossing the unfordable sea of existence. Smiling and pure, resembling the orb of a full moon, glowing like pure shining gold, was thy face. Yet, it is very strange that on seeing it, Mahishasura became furious and struck it with violence. Something very strange is being said. Such a beautiful face, smiling and pure, resembling the orb of a orb of a full moon, glowing like pure shining gold, was thy face. How beautiful description this is. She's so grand, she's so beautiful and powerful. Anybody can fall in love with this great goddess and get attracted and say, Ma, I surrender, You will just melt in the presence of the divine being. But why didn't it happen? It's a very valid question. Yet, it is very strange that on seeing it, Mahishasura became furious and struck it with violence. And he fought the war with you. Why is it? That is called evil. They can't take that light. And the evil resist. They don't want to be transformed. They don't want to become good. O Devi, even more strange was the fact that Mahishasura did not breath his last immediately. He saw thy angry face, terrible with eyebrows knit and crimson, like the rising moon, who breathes after beholding the enraged Lord of Death. What is said here? Even more strange was the fact that Mahishasura did not breathe his last immediately. He saw thy angry face. He sees the Ma's angry face. That means what? Does the demon die actually? See, that doesn't it tell you something? The death, he doesn't want to die. He just wants to win over, okay? Doesn't want to be killed. Devi, thou art supreme. Be gracious for the existence here. Enraged, thou destroyest forthwith the families. We have known this now, that the huge army of Mahishasura has been vanquished. To whomsoever thou art gracious, thou even grantest them prosperity. They are well esteemed in the countries. Theirs is the wealth, theirs the fame, and their pursuits of dharma perish not. They are the fortunate ones who have devoted children, servants, and wives. Devi, By thy grace, the doer of good acts does daily with great faith all the deeds conducive to dharma, and always doing so reaches heaven. See, this is actually very powerful. What is it saying? It's about how you live, then will you get the grace. To whomsoever thou art gracious, thou even grants them prosperity. They are well esteemed in the countries. Theirs is the wealth, theirs the fame, and their pursuits of dharma. What is they saying? These people are dharmic. The grace is not like on any evil. Of course, it's there for you to transform to become divine. Okay, everybody gets an opportunity. In Sai Baba's Poti, Sai Baba says, I extend my hand to especially to those unrighteous and fallen souls. You know why? At least they get one chance to rise above. They give many chances. These are compassionate beings. So they can rise, but it is the choice to not to rise. That is what in the previous verse, right? Even though, Mahishasura was about to die, he did not breathe his last breath, but he kept seeing your angry face. It's very strange. They are well esteemed in countries. Theirs is the wealth, theirs the fame, and their pursuit of dharma perish not. The pursuit of dharma perish not. They are the fortunate ones who have devoted children, servants and wife. Devoted means what? Not devoted to them, but who are divine beings, who are devoted to the mother. Devi, by thy grace, the doer of good acts, does daily with great faith all the deeds conducive to dharma, and always doing so reaches heaven. So what are you supposed to do? Good deeds daily, with doing the same acts with good faith, conducive to dharma. It cannot be against the dharma. Very, very clear here. Reaches heaven alone. O Devi, art thou not therefore the giver of the fruit in all the three worlds? What does that tell you? She is the bestower of the fruits of your action. As you sow, so you reap. Nothing less, nothing more. When thou art remembered in a crisis, thou removest the fear of all beings. When remembered by those stationed in themselves, thou grantest the most auspicious thought, O dispeller of poverty, suffering, and fear. Who else except thee has an ever compassionate heart to render help to everybody? You know what? Very beautiful verse. O dispeller of poverty, suffering, and fear, who else except thee has an ever compassionate heart to render help to everybody? Everybody. She's here to render help to everybody, provided you surrendered, you come. Is she not telling the same thing to the demons? It's the same. It's all about this body. Overcome the evil. She's ever compassionate. She's giving you her hand and saying, hold my hand and walk the path. That is what you need to understand. If these are slain, the world will attain happiness. Let them be committing sins for a long stay in hell, but they can go to heaven by meeting their death in battle. They're very powerful again. O Devi, thinking thus, thou hast slain the enemies, this is certain. You know what the divine beings are? They're ever compassionate. By killing the demons, she grants them the heaven. She destroys all their sufferings. That's why when Lord Sri Krishna killed Kamsa or Shishupal or other enemies, in the Krishna avatar, they all attained Krishna Bhagwan. Likewise, Ravana attained Sri Ram. When he killed Ravana, he attained Sri Ram. That is the ever compassionate being, divine beings they are. They give everybody that liberation, the moksha. They give them opportunity to, release them from that misery. How beautiful. Imagine their compassion. So don't tell me it's good to be I'll be an evil person, so let the God kill me and I attain her. That's not the way. The way is to understand why it is important to be your good self. How to become divine is what we are learning here. Why does thou not reduce all the asuras to ashes by a look? The fact that thou employest weapons to fight the foes in order that even those enemies purified by weapons may attain higher worlds shows the kind thought thou hast towards those unkind ones. I think this doesn't need any explanation at all. How kind the divine beings are. That is why they are great. They are called supreme divine. Supreme divine. They are not some ordinary mortal. They are not just deities also. They are supreme, the highest. There's no comparison to them. The eyes of the asuras have not been put out by the fierce lightning flashes of shining swords and the mass of light emerging from the points of the trident. This is so because they were seeing thy face adorned with a crescent moon emitting cool rays. O Devi, thy nature is to subdue the deeds of the wicked. Likewise, this thy form cannot be grasped by thought and has no parallel with other things. And thy valor destroys those who take away the god's prowess. Thus, mercy has been exhibited even to enemies by thee. Sometimes I keep asking my Guruji, why have you forgiven? They have done so much bad to you as well. When people say something bad, my Guruji always say, it's okay, you have to forgive. He forgives everybody. His mercy, his mercy incarnate. He's so merciful, divine being. I wonder, why does he do that? Why doesn't he punish them? Why doesn't he teach them a lesson? It just feels like that. But here the answer is so beautiful. O Devi, thy nature is to subdue the deeds of the wicked. Subdue the deeds of the wicked. Likewise, this thy form cannot be grasped. We cannot grasp why they do what they do. It's beyond our mind's ken and understanding, grasped by thought, and has no parallel with any other things. You can't even describe and you can't compare. There's no parallel with any other things. And thy valor destroys those who take away the god's prowess. Thus, mercy has been exhibited even to enemies by thee. How beautiful. What can be the comparison to this thy prowess? And where can one find a form like thine, very captivating and at the same time striking fear in the enemies? O Devi, giver of the best in all the triple world, only in thee have been seen compassion in the heart and harshness in the battle. The entire triple world has been saved by thee by the destruction of foes, and the hosts of foes have been led to heaven by being killed in the battlefront. Our fear rising out of the haughty asuras has been dispelled. Salutations to thee. O Devi, guard us with spear, mother, guard us with the sword, with the ring of the bell, guard us, and with the twang of the bowstring. Protect us in the east, in the west, Chandika. Protect us in the south, Ishwari. Likewise, in the north, whirling the spear. Whatever are thy auspicious forms, and whatever thy terrible forms that move about in the triple world, with them protect us and the earth as well. Mother, protect us from everything with whatever weapons thy tender hand contacts. The sword, the trident, the mace and the like. The sage said, thus the upholder and sustainer of the worlds was lauded by the gods and worshipped with flowers produced in the garden Nandana and with fragrant sandal paste. What does this reveal? This is a very huge secret. This is called codices. Something is described here. Let me explain what that secret is. I'll read this verse once again. Thus the upholder and sustainer of the worlds was lauded by the gods and worshipped with what? Flowers produced in the garden Nandana and with fragrant sandal paste. Who do we apply the sandal paste to? Lord Shri Krishna. And who is this Devi? The Lord himself. That is why she is Supreme Divine Mother. Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Divine Consciousness. His power is this Supreme Divine Mother. That is the truth, but it is hidden. She was offered with devotion by all the gods, the divine incense, gracious and benign in countenance. She spoke to all the gods, bowing in salutation. The goddess said, let the gods choose whatever they desire from me. The god said, thy eminence. When I say the god said, it's a small d. They are deities. Thy eminence has done everything. Nothing is left to be done, as our enemy Mahishasura has been killed. O great goddess, if a boon has to be conferred on us by thee. Whenever we think of thee, destroy our great sufferings. Mother of immaculate face, whosoever is the mortal who praises thee with these lords, may thou, who are gracious to us, be so to him for the plenitude of knowledge, growth, glory, along with opulence in wealth and household comforts like wife, etc. Don't ask for wife or husband. That's a joke. The sage said, O king, thus propitiated by the gods for the sake of the world and for their own sake, Bhadrakali said, yes, and vanished. O protector of the earth, so far has been said how the goddess, desiring the weal of the three worlds, was born long ago from the bodies of the gods. Again, how, as a helper of the gods, she manifested out of Gauri's body for the protection of the world and for the destroyal of wicked asuras, as well as Shumba and Nishumba. I shall relate, listen to it, I shall tell as it happened. So the next demon we are going to be learning about in our next episode, Shumba and Nishumba. So we'll learn in depth as we go along. So now we end the second episode, chapter 4 we end. But before that, I want to give you one very important lesson. The lesson is that, see, we all now understood that Mahishasura has been killed. All the demons are dead and gone. Then why do we celebrate Navratri every year? Have you ever asked this question? Why do we have to celebrate the 9 days of Navratri every single year? Do you think these demons have really dead and gone? Do you know the truth about the demons? They are they have immortality. We say they have a boon from the divine Lord himself that their guru Shukracharya can bring them alive from the dead. So don't think the demons are dead. They are only dead momentarily. So this victory is celebrated momentarily. Have you noticed in yourself, every time you think, oh God, I have conquered this, I have been able to overcome, something which you thought you are not able to overcome. It could be fear of someone. It could be, your lack of discipline, something that you want to do and you haven't been able to achieve. But after a long time, you were able to accomplish that. At that time, your mind gloats. The moment you think you did it, these demons are awakened. They come back alive. And then the next moment, they put all the obstacles on your path and make you fail. So please remember, demons are immortals. And you know why we celebrate Durga Puja everywhere? It's a reminder to us. Like I said, after the 10th day, we close the beautiful Devi Mahatmyam and put it back in our library, and we don't go back to these lessons. You have to every single day practice. Every single day remember. And if you don't do this, the demons are very active throughout the year. And it's a reminder constantly to tell us, the demons don't die. They are alive. Every single year, again we have to do the whole Devi Mahatmyam Parayan once again to remind you. Why are you forgetting? It's a reminder constantly. That is why we celebrate every festival year on year, so that we don't forget. Human beings have very short-term memory. Even loss of memory happens very fast like this. But we forget of everything. All the good is not remembered, but all the evil is remembered. So understand, demons have immortality. So don't gloat over any glory. Understand, this battle is a continuous one. Till you don't have absolute conviction that this is me, this is that Devi, I am that Devi, and there is nothing that can stop me from doing what I want to, you will have to keep fighting these demons. With that, I hope today you learned a lot about who these asuras are in a little more depth. We shall see you once again tomorrow, the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan, day 4. Ream home. Here ends the 4th of Devi Mahatmyam in Markandeya Purana during the period of Savarni, the Manu. Thank you once again for joining the Devi Mahatmyam Parayan. ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेव दत्त। ओम श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दिगंबरा दिगंबरा श्रीपाद वल्लभ दिगंबरा। ओम श्री कृष्ण गुरुनाथ नाथाय श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम देवी दुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री कृष्णार्पणम नमस्तु। कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं।